42 and 52, Mr. President. Order 42, the matter for discussion shall, if possible, be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting. And the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. Order 52. Notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of a motion or in respect of any other proceedings for which notice is required, except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators present. Mr. President, the synopsis of my presentation is on the need to review the NIN registration against our students, those who are seeking to register for JAMB, as they have made it a mandatory for them and the hardship they are going through. If you wish, Mr. President, I can proceed.
Thank you very much, distinguished Uba. Because you have come under Orders 42.
I'm Senator Ifeanyi Uba, representing the good people of Anambra South. Mr. President, I'm constrained to call the attention of this hallowed chamber to the widespread hardship young, promising, and cerebral Nigerians are currently facing as a result of the decision of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, to include the NIN, National Identification Number, as a precondition for registration of UTME candidates in 2021. Mr. President, this action is an inconsiderate and premature decision that has further complicated the already rigorous process of both registration for JAMB examination and procuring the NIN. It is pertinent to call the attention of this chamber to the fact that JAMB initially attempted to start implementation of this policy in 2020, but has to postpone it owing to technical problems and irregularities prevailing the process of obtaining NIN from the National Identity Management Company, NIMC. From all indication, Mr. President, these technical hinges are yet to be addressed. The long queue at NIMC centers are testimonies to the fact that a well-organized process is yet to be put in place to ease the stressful process of the registration. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, available statistics indicate that in 2020, more than 2 million candidates registered for JAMB examinations. Presently, the introduction of NIN threatens to significantly lower the number of registered candidates in 2021 because majority of these candidates are just attaining the age when they can obtain the NIN. This is a brazen infringement on the right to education of young Nigerians who may not be able to meet the deadline to obtain their NIN and register for JAMB. Mr. President, you will agree with me on the fact that this idea, even though innovative in nature, should be suspended until the condition of obtaining NIN improves tremendously. The board, JAMB, already have enough logistic and technical problems to tackle. Adding more complications to is counterproductive and will only serve as a hindrance to young Nigerians desirous of getting into higher institutions to further their education. I am aware that they have extended 2 weeks, but Mr. President, 2 weeks that was extended will not be enough to ease the problem our young Nigerians are going through, our young students are going through. Conclusively, in view of the point raised, I wish to accordingly urge the Nigerian Senate to mandate the Ministry of Education mandate the Ministry of Education to review the suffering our students are going through the registration of NIN for JAMB as a precondition to take JAMB's examination. And then also urge the Ministry of Education and NIMC to streamline a simple and decentralized NIN registration process where students will be able to obtain their NIN in their various accredited school premises. I so submit, Mr. President.
I need a seconder.
I represent Anambra Central from Anambra State. Mr. President, I rise to support this motion. Second the motion. Be moved my brother, Dr. Patrick Ifeanyi. Mr. President, in seconding this motion, I want to say that this is a very straightforward motion. It is apt and it has come when we need to show concern for what is happening on students presenting NIN number before they are registered for WAEC or GCE. Mr. President, remember that the whole of last year was taken over by COVID, and that restricted a lot of movement, and it made it impossible for many students to have access to NIN number. Telling our students now they cannot register for WAEC and GCE because they don't have NIN number is actually very, very insensitive on the part of JAMB and the NECO. Mr. President, I want to state very clearly that the registration of NIN has not been able to, the awareness has not been there. There is no public enlightenment. Many people don't even understand what NIN stands for, National Identification Number. The awareness has not been taken to the grassroots. The enlightenment has not been taken to schools. It has not been taken to universities and tertiary institutions. Therefore, many children and many students don't even know the need for them to have the NIN number. They don't even know that the NIN is a requirement for them to participate in NECO and GCE. So I think that this Senate is a responsible Senate, and we are representing the people they are trying to marginalize. It is on that note that I want to support this motion and to state clearly that schools should not make NIN as basis for participating in any examination. Therefore, I second this motion and I pray that the Senate supports it and allow it to pass. Thank you.
Prayer 1 mandate the Federal Ministry of Education, JAMB, and NIMC to review the implementation of this policy with a view to extending the JAMB registration deadline or suspending this requirement until there is a seamless and well-organized process for obtaining the national identity number. Those in favor of this prayer say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2 urge the Federal Ministry of Education and NIMC to introduce, streamline a simple and decentralized NIN registration process where students will be able to obtain their NIN in their various accredited school premises. Those in favor of prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Leader of the Senate.